born an athlete, you'll die an athlete. It's in your DNA.
You're an athlete. Live like an athlete so that you can be successful in life.
You're an athlete. Live like it.
ANA, America needs athletes. I saw that. All right, we are rolling. Welcome, athletes, into the gym closet. We're on episode 151. If this is the first time joining us, the Gym Closet is a Krave Gym podcast. We talk about how to live like an athlete, and what that means is how to live great, how to be successful, and how to live your best life. I'm here, as always, with Amber, except for last week.
Except for last week, yeah. Sometimes I miss these.
As sometimes.
As sometimes with that. And as always with Zach Vaness. And we also have Jake with us today. So Jake was with us last week, so we're going to follow up on some of that stuff.
And he killed it,
yeah.
so he's back.
Killed it, he's back. So we have a bunch of stuff. We have our craving. We have Krave Chalk Talk, which is going to be our program talk. We have our word of the week. A ton of stuff to get to today. But how was everybody's weekend?
It's good.
You had a good weekend, didn't you?
I did.
Amber had a great weekend. It looked like better than the rest of us.
Yeah.
What'd you guys do?
Party
What'd you
on
guys
the
do? Tell us more.
Yeah, I shouldn't have even filmed it, I don't think, because a
said,
lot of people
tell us
said it was
every
like
race
their
were
fun
crazy.
weekends. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
tell us everything about it.
Okay. I don't remember, honestly. I'm just kidding.
But
Those are the best
But
weekends.
seriously, yes.
No, so we left Friday. It's a bunch of moms. So a bunch of friends. We have a mom's weekend every weekend back at my hometown on
Every
the lake.
weekend.
Every
Or
weekend.
every
Dang.
summer. On the lake. So we all ditch the kids, ditch the husbands, and go just literally lay out, have drinks, and not hear, Mom, I need this. It was great.
But this is going to be the
So,
last one, though, right?
I
Never
said that,
again.
but I'm sure give it a year, we'll be ready to go again.
Yeah.
So we just
Also, we keep thinking about
hung out
volleyball, and then we give it 1 week, and then we're like, ready.
and ready to go again.
Right?
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. Good to get away for a little bit. But then I was telling everybody, it's like you get back Sunday afternoon, and then usually on Sundays, like prep and I get ready for the week. That didn't happen. So then Monday, I'm like, oh my gosh.
I've always heard you always take the
Feel-
day after vacation off as well. That way
Yes,
you get a
'cause then you
whole-
have
to-
a whole
yes.
extra day to prep
And
for
it's
the
so
week.
true because I got home and I'm like, I'm not ready for this week yet. But
That's true.
definitely.
Zach, how was
worth
your
it.
weekend?
My weekend was good.
My weekend was made better because your weekend with your mom's bringing those
I know.
bars. Huge shout out to your mom.
Shout out
Those
Deb.
monsters, those monster bars.
I wouldn't know.
They're
about
heavy.
it there.
I mean the ones that you would have given us.
I know. The ones that we were going to bring, but we didn't
but
bring.
they didn't bring. Those were long gone before Amber got home. I did save some of the scotcheroos for
Well, it's
her.
funny because he goes, you have some scotcheroos up there, and I didn't see them. They were way on top of the fridge. But and I go, oh, I do. I go, oh, did they bring Monster bars by chance? He's like, no, they didn't bring those. And I looked at his face, and I could just tell he was like,
Those got eaten up
Those were
real
gone.
quick.
Yeah.
They're good, yeah.
guilty.
They're
You had the
super
look
good.
of Monster Bar guilt on
They
your face. I
are
was like, damn it.
Good.
Yes.
But-
So
They're real good.
sorry. So did your mom stay in town then?
She was in town on Friday night, and she stayed till Saturday. My sister came down to have adventures downtown with her friends.
Cool.
So my
And
mom.
did your
drove
dad
me down.
come? He didn't come.
No.
Is he doing farm stuff right now? Or is he off?
has farm stuff all the time. He always does
Doesn't
stuff.
he have a little bit of a couple month break? Where it's
Yeah,
not
the
too
summer it's
intense?
like well, I mean, obviously the spring planting and the fall harvest is like when
Yeah.
it's extra busy when it's like 20-hour days. Like now it's only like 12-hour days.
Anytime the
so
light is out,
only
yeah.
12 hours.
basically,
days.
yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
So
Just
did
like
they?
it's
Did you
downtime,
guys
so.
take over? Is that like a family farm or not? Like
Yeah.
his parents' farm and everything
Yeah,
too? Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
Sweet. Jake, what about you? How was the weekend
Not
for
too
you?
much. Pretty low key. Spent Saturday cleaning grandparents' farm out. Ended up with
Oh.
some cool tools.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm at that age in my life where power tools are starting to become like the coolest thing in the world for me. So
Right.
I love
I'm
it.
loving that.
That's awesome.
Ended up with some good stuff.
It doesn't change though. So I'm like 10 years older than you. The entire it's still
Maybe
that
I'm
cool.
hitting it earlier
Yeah.
than most people, but
Yeah.
I love it.
It is still that cool.
longer period of time to grow my collection.
Exactly.
And then
Okay, so are you building things with these power
no,
tools?
but
Or
just
do
to
you
have them.
Like just
you
to
know,
have them. Okay.
when you never
'Cause you
know
never
when you're
know
going
when
to
you're
a
need
gonna
it.
real
Right.
man's prepared.
You know,
All
yeah,
right.
last
All
year
right.
we did like wood flooring in our house and using like makeshift like handsaws and stuff and a makeshift like wood cutting table made that incredibly hard.
Oh, yeah.
So
I will
the
tell
better tools I can
Yeah.
collect now, the next time I get into a
Yes.
project like
I will
that,
tell
the better it'll be.
anybody anytime. The project is all about the tools. Like if you have the right tool for the project, it is super easy. So like if it's a roofing company, the reason they do it so much better than you do it is because they have the proper tools. And if you're not willing to invest in the proper tools to do that project, hire that project out, because it is a pain in the ass to try to do the, like, especially like if you're owning your first home, if you're doing little projects around the house, if you don't have the right tools, not worth even trying doing the project.
And I feel like they're a good investment because you'll, as long as you treat them right,
Say,
and
you
stuff,
take care of
they'll
it, you should
stay
have
around
for
for a while.
years.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Added to that collection.
That is awesome.
Nice.
So, did everybody drink some water this weekend? Did you chose not to?
Amber did not.
Did you
No, I had
drink any
some.
water?
We were prepared with body armors. For,
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that.
That's a
Yeah.
winner.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
drank lots.
So actually, and that's one. So Body Armor, do they have a little protein in them?
No, but I think
No.
no,
They have a protein
I think
version
They have a
of it, don't
protein.
they?
I'm
Now
not
they
sure. I know
have
they have like a light version now.
So,
the light. That's what I
So it's
always
like
think.
less
Yeah.
Like.
So
sugar.
now we're gonna get into our first craving last week. So Amber will bring up. We got a bunch of cool responses,
Yeah.
but the question of the day last week, the question of the week was for our craving is if you can drink one drink for the rest of your life, not being water, and you can't drink any water on top of this drink, what would it be? And so we all responded. Sweet tea was a good response that I wouldn't have thought of. I would have been at kind of I think I did like Gatorade Zero or something like that, but I think I revised that to like a protein Gatorade Zero, or if they have those.
like
They
protein
do.
2.0.
Or like protein
So,
2.0,
I was just-
whatever
Yeah.
that drink
No
is.
I
free
know.
cloud, but-
I was at Costco yesterday. And I meant to tell you this. They had the protein H2Os there, or the protein whatever waters, and then Gatorade Zero now has a protein. So it's Gatorade Zero
Oh, really?
protein, but there's
Really?
only 10.
That's
I-
kind of deceiving. Gatorade Zero protein.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it doesn't
There
have
is
any
no
protein.
But it's-
protein
yeah, it's
there.
So, but I didn't have a chance to look at the bottle because we're kind of in a hurry. But I didn't flip around to see if there's 2 servings. So if there's 20 grams of protein, because those protein H2Os, how much protein?
I want to
They're
say
like
there's like
it's like
15 to
Okay.
15 to 20.
So I was gonna
something
say
like
if it was 10
decent
grams, but
amount
still,
Yeah.
yeah.
for like a
Pretty good
water.
for a
So now
protein
protein
water, yeah.
or
So that's what
Gatorade
that would I would revise mine to that.
But my question is, isn't Gatorade Zero supposed to be 0 calories?
Yes.
Yeah.
In
Yes.
theory, so if it had protein, it would not be 0 calories.
That is
Right.
a fact.
Because as we all know, protein has 4 calories per gram.
Right.
Everybody knows
But
that.
I wonder
now, so.
if everybody should know that. If,
Everybody
if you're
should.
listening at
They
home,
should.
if you've listened to the show, you should know that. But if, and that's I'm sure that it's just marketing. Like, hey, this is a 0 calorie, but then you're adding
Or-
protein to it.
Maybe they're just saying 0 sugar.
Or maybe they're just lying to
probably
the
what-
American public.
So it could be
Well,
like
that
just
is-
That's the
zero-
thing you
That
have
is
to. That's the thing you have to watch out
advertising
for
to a
on
T.
these labels. Is Gatorade Zero the 0 doesn't mean anything. It's what you think it means. They might make it seem like just like Diet Coke. It never meant 0 calories. It always just meant like it's just a word that gets you to buy that shit. So there could have been it could have been less. Like what was that Dr. Pepper they came out with that was less calories? You know what I'm talking about? It was like marketed towards women because it had Max or something. It was like something. Anyway, it was marketed to men as like a you don't want a sissy diet drink, you want this, and it was like it's not as many calories as the full one, but still manly. And it was like it was so
That's
funny.
awesome.
Yeah, and I can't remember what it was now, but I'll have to. Anybody comment on the video? Anybody that knows what that is?
That's
what
fantastic.
remembers what that
Yes.
was?
Okay, so we have Gatorade Zero Berry, packed full of flavor and keeps me hydrated for parenting. Mountain Dew is on there.
Mountain
See-
Dew is a bold.
That's a bold move.
You're gonna have Mountain Dew with breakfast.
Like, can you imagine
with
your
your cereal.
Should I
piss?
say who said these?
No.
Okay.
Can you imagine your piss?
Seriously, neon green.
Yeah. Maybe in the next question, in the next cravings, just be like,
I want to see.
if you answer this, you're volunteering. If you're
Makes
answering
sense.
this, you're volunteering
Right,
to be
to
name dropped
be
on
named
our
dropped on the
podcast.
podcast. Say that next time. So
Should-
cravings.
Okay, I just don't think these people would really care, but
They might not, but
okay, skim milk.
see, that's
Ugh.
bold too.
Yeah.
That I see.
You only
See,
go
I
through
thought
so
about that
much.
too, and
Yeah,
so
you
then I
did.
thought about chocolate milk too, because like skim milk, just I could not do skim milk with like
Tastes horrible.
say you're eating burgers in there.
Yeah.
Like
I used to drink milk with my burgers, actually. Chocolate
Yeah.
milk with my
Well,
burgers.
like my mom.
well, see, and
I feel
chocolate
like
milk's
my-
different.
Yeah,
Chocolate
that's
milk
true,
has
yeah.
that.
That's true.
My mom
It
could, I
tastes
think,
good.
drink milk with every meal because she
Yeah.
just loves milk
Really?
so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
That's
and,
fine.
and I love milk, but like I just can't imagine. Like I'm thinking about like I was outside this weekend and like
Yeah,
Right.
I don't feel like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like
it was 100. Like the
thirst
last thing I would want to
quenching
do.
Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Can you imagine in the middle of a Crave session, all of a sudden you're like, oh,
Ooh, milk. Gotta run over to the side and grab my milk and chug some milk real
What?
quick in the middle of my session.
yuck.
Okay. And then tea, caffeine, endless variety, which is
See,
not.
okay, so this one I read and I was like, okay, so he skirted around the
Okay,
word.
that is,
Or he
yeah.
skirted around the rules.
That is
Because he named tea, thinking that there's several different types of tea that you can drink.
right,
And
which
so
is
that is smart. But I
I think not really within
I
the
think,
rules.
I think
though,
I disqualify that one. I think that you have to pick a certain tea, like a sweet tea.
Agreed.
Iced coffee, blueberry mojito pre-workout gets me
What?
going during the day, but doesn't keep me up.
We're gonna drink pre-workout all day, every
We're gonna have
day.
Pre-workout
the
would be
beta
great.
itches all
Yeah,
day.
pre-workout would be great unless you have any like after. If you want to drink anything,
Well, that's
past
because
4
what I
p.m.
said. I was like, I'd go
Right.
bang energy drinks
Yeah,
all day.
right.
I could drink those things.
And
Like
Could you
nonstop.
imagine how many scoops of pre-workout you would need to feel anything after
Yeah.
like
Right.
after 3
Oh,
months
man.
of only drinking pre-workout?
Like
You'd be like
1,000 milligrams of caffeine
Yeah.
to feel.
You'd be like
Yeah.
5 scoops.
We've had some bold. decisions.
And then,
Right, what's their
best
name?
for last, tequila.
Tequila.
Margarita.
Hey. Then you know how much tequila you would have to actually drink to get drunk at a certain point. That's
That's
what
funny.
tolerance would go through the roof.
That's lit.
Yeah, that's her.
That's funny.
Click on that.
That is a bold choice.
Oh yeah. That's
I
funny.
think it's from volleyball Wednesday
That's
nights.
funny.
'Cause
That
we
would
have so
be-
much fun
There's
that
a
you just
helpful
want to
hint
keep
of
it.
who it
That's
is.
All right, so great. Thank you guys for sending in your votes for what you would drink this next craving. We got the Olympics going on, so everybody's kind of noticed the Olympics. We got Olympic fever in America, and we haven't been performing as well as that's.
No.
We're
Still
leading
America.
the medal count.
What's that?
I think we're still leading the medal.
Are we
count
leading the
last
medal
I
count?
checked.
I just
It's
think
close, but
the sports that we should be winning every single game, every single thing that we're doing, like America's sports,
like basketball.
like basketball.
Yeah.
We
How
did
does
show
America
up last
lose in
night. They,
basketball?
like
They
60
did
pointed
actually
I
play.
Who
ran.
they
Yeah.
play?
I ran.
I
Yeah.
ran.
Like 60 pointed them.
But I think you should probably.
We should.
Yeah.
Probably should be.
But
our
the,
should
like the
be
dream
basketball.
team, like 60 points, like
Yeah, 60 pointed.
so we're 1-1 in actual play. Then,
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
But we lost a couple in.
Should I
Two
pull
extra-
up?
They
exhibition
were like
games. 2 exhibition.
1 and 3,
Yeah.
including 2
See,
exhibition
that's
games.
what scares me. But so
The
Fran,
thing that's
beat 'em.
interesting with
France
that though
did
is like
yours.
when you look at like the dream team, or even a couple years ago when it was like the redeem team,
Yeah,
Right.
like
the
it was
They're beating every team by
the
60.
and yeah, like I mean like the second best team in the world, whoever that
Exhibition
would
by
be,
100.
would be just destroying them.
Yes.
But you also look at the teams though, and the teams now are like there's like literally like guys who are in the G League, like the developmental league, that are playing or like have been like they're it's not the 12 best possible American players that you could find.
Right.
Like LeBron James is busy doing space.
Steph
Jam.
Curry's
Steph
doing
Curry's busy
other
doing whatever he's
things,
doing.
You know.
Mhm.
No one cares.
But they're still-
for some
I mean,
reason.
they're still
But
good
you
players.
still look at the roster and it's like
Yeah.
our top 8 are better than the next best player
Right,
in the
right.
Olympics anywhere. So
Everywhere, yeah.
we
So-
should be doing
Yeah.
better.
I think, and I talked to you about this. I think Coach K is the missing link.
Oh yeah.
bringing players together in a college type of way versus
Oh, yeah.
NBA type of way.
Mhm.
But yeah. So with that aside, and even swimming too. I was kind of
Yeah.
disappointed in swimming.
Katie Ledecky's back. She won
Yeah.
gold this morning. I think
Oh,
it was
she
like
did?
1,500.
Okay. The 1500. She
That's her
lost the
thing.
longest.
She got like
Yeah.
She got 2/3.
That's insane.
she got like a 6th last night or like
I saw that one
yesterday.
too,
like
yeah.
a 100 fly. I don't know.
But anyway, so
the
we're going to be
triathlon-
talking
sorry,
about.
I just have to
Go
talk
ahead.
about this. The triathlon was on yesterday morning.
Did you watch the men
Oh,
finish
this
that?
one, no, I watched the women.
Oh, the women. did
She
better
was
than
running
that.
like a 5:30 mile.
That's nuts.
at the
at
end
the
of a tri-
At the end of a
At the
triathlon.
end of a triathlon?
That's insane.
She
That's
was
flying.
I can't
flying,
do that.
and she didn't even win.
I can't do that.
I can't do that
I
normally.
can't do
yeah.
that straight
No.
up. Or yeah.
Because I had to rewind it. Because I'm like, they just say 5 minutes and 30-second miles that she's averaging, and it was.
Averaging for how long? How long?
I
is
don't
the
know
last
how
part of that?
It's not like
13.
it's.
Isn't it
Is it a full marathon?
full triathlon?
I'll do some research.
Well,
full
yeah,
triathlon
well, yeah,
is
it's a full marathon.
So she
So I
ran a
think they were-
marathon.
I don't think it's a full marathon. I think that's what an Ironman is.
Oh, okay. So
Oh.
I think
not
Ironmans
for
are like
triathlon.
ridiculously long triathlons, but I
But
think
that
like an
pace,
Olympic
I would say.
It's
triathlon
not,
is like
yeah.
If you're watching on video, I'm gonna get this spider.
Ooh.
Got him.
But I agree.
Sorry,
I
that
think it
was
was you
just
that posted
insane.
it actually, Amber, that like the Olympics should have somebody, or even if they don't have somebody normal doing it, they should at least give like
seen this.
the times of like a normal person.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like of an
Because
average
like
athlete.
it's really
Just-
hard to see. Like you look at like in swimming, they have what 8 lanes, and you look at the person in 8th place, and they're finishing 10 seconds after the person in first place, and you're like, wow, that person's terrible.
Slow,
Yeah.
right?
But in reality, I mean, they're still the
I wanna-
8th
yeah.
fastest
I wanna
swimmer in the world.
I want to see
Like,
Jim. I want to see Jim Robinson in lane 9.
yeah,
With, like
pulling up like 2 minutes later. Yeah.
like struggling to do his first flip turn, and then like coming back
Just
and
getting
doing the
the
wrong
lap,
stroke.
right.
That'd
Or
be
something,
so-
you know what I mean? Like that would.
Yeah.
that would
The
be
funniest
put it in
part is the
perspective.
people that like would go there and just get absolutely humiliated by like the best athletes
Oh,
in the world
yeah.
are the same people on like Twitter and Facebook
Right, couch
roasting
surfing.
them
Yeah.
like, oh, I
Right.
could have done that
Yeah.
in my sleep, or back in my day I would
Like
have
I'm gonna
done
bash
that.
Team USA, but I would probably lose to basketball 1-on-1 against any of them. In reality,
Anyone
For
from any
sure.
of the countries. I'm like,
Yeah, not even
Most
just
likely.
United.
But it
even
is-
Iran.
Yeah, it's just an
Even
interesting
Iran,
thing
at
that
least.
like not our best athletes go there. So like they just
not Iran. I'd beat everyone.
our
You think
best.
you'd beat Iran?
Yeah.
One versus five.
One on one. I'd beat.
One on one.
You beat all of
Line
them.
them up.
So you
No.
think people like LeBron James and like Curry, they don't live for the Olympics? Like they just have no
I think
desire.
LeBron James
or you-
lives for his own ego.
I think
Yeah,
if you
I
want.
mean,
I think it
can see
depends on
that.
the
They don't
sport.
get.
But how about
they don't
back,
get
like,
money. Like there's
Kobe Bryant probably
them-
didn't play in the Olympics
He
either.
did, though,
He
yeah.
did, okay.
He did once or twice.
So it's kind of interesting.
I think it depends
'cause
on the
that's,
sport,
like, the
where
best of the
like
best, but
Yeah.
in the NBA they're making ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the most popular
What's the
sports in the
incentive?
world.
Right.
But like
And
to
to
swimming,
be fair, like LeBron did play. I think he was on a couple
08 and
teams.
12, I think.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't know if it's somewhere he just feels like he's done it a couple times and doesn't want to, or doesn't need to, or wants to let someone else have a
30
chance,
years
or
old.
yeah.
Needs
So
some time off.
Yeah.
I did do some research. The Olympic triathlon is a 1.5 kilometer swim, so just under a mile, 25-mile bike ride, and a 6.2 mile run.
So it's 10,
6.2.
is that
10K.
10K?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That's speedy 10K times. Though.
So to be
That's
running like a
insane.
5:30 on a
5:30 mile,
10K
yeah.
That's insane.
after the
All that
run
other
or after
stuff.
the swim.
Oh, there
and
was
bike.
one other thing I had to bring up because I was watching it, and I was watching the women's weightlifting.
Oh my god.
49 kilos. The women were 49
yeah.
kilos,
Oh.
which is what a kilo is 2.2
2.2
pounds.
pounds,
So
so
if I do my math,
yeah,
it's like
120.
100. It's
110.
110, 15
So
So
pounds.
it's 260 some pounds.
And they were
snatching.
snatching like
it was
yeah,
insane.
276 kilos. They were clean.
Yeah,
they were
what
260.
weight class
I
was that at?
Yeah.
that was the
That was
49
I think
kilo
it was,
women.
that was the one I showed
Yeah.
you. I said
And
there's
their
this one-
snatcher clean and jerking like 115 kilos, which
Yes.
is basically in American terms, it's like a 110-pound woman clean and jerking like 270 pounds or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's
I
what
mean,
that was.
Because I had
Which
to do
is
it on my phone. I'm like, how much is
unfathomable.
that?
Like how?
Because they don't. It doesn't look like. How are the weights on those? Are they? Because they only have like
Olympic-
2 plates on
yeah,
each
Olympic
side.
They're
weights
Olympic
can
plates.
be-
They can
They're
be
can
like
be
a-
Okay.
big plates.
like 100,
yeah.
Right.
like
'Cause I was
50
like,
kilo
wait,
50
plates.
kilos
two-
or whatever.
So I
yeah.
was trying to
So
figure
50
out how
kilos
much it
would
was,
be like
but yeah.
100 pounds.
And they kept
100
saying 269
10
pounds. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy.
I saw there's a Japanese guy at like one of the lower weight classes. He took like 9 seconds to catch his jerk.
Oh,
he
yeah.
went up overhead. He was like walking the entire platform trying to get his legs locked
Yeah.
out. It was incredible. He
It's-
did it.
Wow.
It was
Did he?
awesome.
Nice.
But I was like, he's holding 3 something over his head, trying to like,
Yeah.
lock his legs out. It was incredible.
That's insane.
It's really fun to
That's a
watch
lot of
it.
weight. That makes
all
me
of it,
feel
all
bad.
the Olympics.
Makes me feel horrible.
That makes me feel horrible
Do you guys
for
like winter or
hurting
s-
my back doing
Some are better.
400.
Oh, it's summer by
I
far.
like the summer
Yeah,
better.
summer's a lot
personally,
more
yeah.
Yeah, so given that we are in the Summer Olympics, what is your favorite Summer Olympic event is going to be our craving for this next season. So, or for this next week. So we'll have that up, vote for that, give your answer and explanation, and then we're also going to shout out people that give their answers. So
Give us your
this is
full
a
permission.
forewarning. Yeah, so
Yeah.
so if
Your
you
answer is your
if you
permission.
answer at it, you are giving us permission to put your name in there so we can have a little bit more fun talking about it. And that leads us right into our wow this week, our word of the week that is, and everybody kind of saw, I think the biggest story here, at least in the American Olympics here in the last couple of days, has been Simone Biles sitting out for withdrawing herself from the team event and now the individual event. But mentals is the word of the week, and the quote that I wanted, the reason why it's mentals is, if anybody can remember, I'm hoping some people remember this, but before it was popular for athletes to talk about mental health, Marshawn Lynch went on his media and said, for all of the newcomers coming up in our sport, you got to take care of your chickens, your body, and your mentals. And so what he meant by that is take care of your money, your body, and your mentals. And so mentals obviously is something that mental health is something that has moved into the forefront a little bit, and especially with people like Simone doing a good job in saying how important mental health is. Even Michael Phelps went on and talked about his organization and talked about the Michael Phelps organization. Is it Michael Phelps organization or foundation, whatever it is, saying that, hey, mental health is one of the most important parts of we have our physical and our mental, and we talk a lot about mental health here. And I think that Simone taking herself out, one, I think is very brave in that, a lot of old school type of athletes and old school type of coaches have been kind of you have to perform, plug away, grindstone type of people that would say, okay, it's weak, don't show weakness. The old school, like, you remember the stories of, like, don't drink water because it makes you weak, that kind of shit during practice. Like, that stuff is so crazy. But for someone, and to me, it had to be so hard for her to do this, because for someone that is prepared, as mentally prepared as she is, to realize and understand, hey, that last event that I did, I was 25 feet up in the air and I missed a twist. Like, this is what she kind of said, and so I just lost myself in the air. And for her to say that, my mental health isn't there, I'm mentally not able to perform, so I'm gonna have to sit this one out, like that obviously looking out for her physical health, because if her mental health isn't there and you get lost in your spin, and we saw one of her tricks was or one of her moves was insane amount of twists, and if you can't do that 20 feet in the air because you're not mentally where you need to be to do it, then it becomes physically dangerous, especially for her. So like, that's one thing. I think, anything else? Like, do you guys want to talk about mental health or anything? Like, the big thing that the one thing that I do want to caution, and I think that we need to take it a step further, and I want to have, who did we have on before talking about mental health during the pandemic? Melissa, yeah. So I want to have her back on to dive deeper into it, because I think if you just touch the surface level of mental health and you have, like, I think there could be mistaken with young people that think, okay, I'm going to get into a job and my first week I've been working hard, so I need a mental break. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between like being fatigued a little bit because you're working hard and needing a true mental break. Now, obviously, any athlete at her level, she knows hard work. Like,
right, yeah.
So she know, you know what I mean? So that's not an issue for her. So anytime that, especially someone like her, that says that I need a mental health break, that
in
is
the biggest arena of her life.
Right,
like, this is what the gymnasts work for.
Right.
Like, they work for the Olympics.
Right.
Exactly.
That's like the big
huge
picture at the end of all this, right?
But
you want to be an Olympian.
Right.
champion.
But I want to. I wish that, and I hope that this leads to people talking about it more, and what mental health, because I see it a lot in the media right now and all this kind of stuff. She needed a mental break. She wasn't feeling mentally healthy, so she took off the Olympics. Right? She decided not to do the Olympics. If I'm if I'm trying to work as hard as I can and I want to achieve my goals, and I just hear that as a kid, that could almost say, that could almost be like, well, it almost comes as an excuse, right? To not work hard, to not do these other things that you have to do to be successful. So I want this, and I'm not qualified to talk more on it because I'm not an expert in that arena, but I'd like to have Melissa back on and talk about what that mental health means, what some of those things, what some of the symptoms might be. Obviously for her, she's done that trick 100 times or probably thousands and thousands of times, right?
Yeah.
And this event on the biggest stage, she understood that she wasn't capable of doing something that she's done 1,000 times.
Right.
So she said she recognized it, which is very important. But that doesn't mean, that you shouldn't work hard to get to that point. You shouldn't take the mental break during it if you don't really need it. So I'd like to clarify. I'd like people to talk more about it and define more symptoms, and if you're feeling this way, this might be, because just like working, right? When you're grinding and you're working, some people working 60, 80 hours a week, there is a certain, like, burnout is real, and that's a mental health issue, but burnout doesn't necessarily going to happen at 15 hours a week. You know what I mean? Like you have to have, and it's obviously different for everyone, and that's the thing. But there's certain things that I wish that hopefully as a community in the United States, as a culture, we can discuss more openly about what symptoms you might have, what different things you might need to do, or how you might feel when you need to take some time.
It makes me wonder how many times she's experienced this, and she hasn't quit. She just pushed through.
Right.
But now, like, the pressure just got to be so much,
Right,
or like, because you don't want anyone to have to, right?
Right.
And you don't want anybody to have to deal with that. It's sad that it has to go that long or that far. If it's something that she's been battling for a long time.
And that's what the one thing that Michael Phelps was saying is, like, for these athletes, the pressure is so immense. You feel like you have the entire country's pressure on your shoulders. Yeah, and so obviously that takes a huge mental toll, and so I'm huge shout out to her. It's awesome.
And for her too. I mean, like, she's not just. I mean, how many Olympians do we know? How many Olympians the U.S. sent over this time? I mean, it's hundreds. I know.
Every time.
And I mean, every time because we're the best. So.
but she's
the best. Yeah. I'm like, it was the same as Michael Phelps when he went his 4 times or whatever, 5 times he went. He is
the show.
Yeah, like Simone Biles is the Olympian.
Right.
And like, there's hundreds of them, but she's the one that everyone's interested to watch. And so that's kind of what I was thinking too earlier was, kind of going along the same lines you guys were talking about. It's more. You think of how hard she worked to get to this point, and like you said, the Olympics, there's world championships and there's things going on every year for gymnasts, but the Olympics are, that's it. Like, that's what you work for 4 years. Yes. I mean, like, people like retire after the Olympics because they're like, oh, it's just world championships for the next 3 years. This is the Olympics. It's the thing.
Yeah.
So, like, you think of what she has to be going through right now to make a conscious decision to be like, okay, you know what, I have to be done. Yep. Like, so it's more than being nervous. It's more than being tired or burnt out. Like I can't even imagine what she has to be going through to be able to have it be so much to make a decision of, okay, everything I've worked for the last 4 years, I'm just gonna, like, right now just call it and
decide that whatever she's going through is not worth, like, risking.
Right, exactly. And it's something that I don't think any of us, at this,
and that's what
have any sort of knowledge of.
I don't think most people realize, like, in sports in general, like, even when we played in college sports and stuff, how much of any impact your mental has on that stuff to just go out and play at our level. To do anything at an elite level, and it's another step forward. And then add the pressure, like you said, of representing your country. Like I was to say, she's dealing with all those, like, compounding mental factors, and it's like,
that's when they were interviewing Michael Phelps, and they were like, okay, we're really glad to have you because you're uniquely qualified to answer.
It's one of the few people that can talk about
and that's probably one of maybe less than 10 people that have
Yeah.
ever felt that amount of pressure as far as sports and stuff.
On that big of a stage.
So you know, going back to Marshawn Lynch's, taking care of your money, taking care of your body and your mentals, those things are really what make you successful in life. But you have to take care of yourself physically, and I think for the average person, those go hand in hand, right? I know when I'm able to get physically active, and in the last week now, since last week when you guys were joining me and I was wearing my belt and I couldn't move, like I haven't been able to work out, I haven't been able to do things. So stress, that's part of my stress release, and part of the physical side helps my mental state. And so so finding those things that help your mental state on a daily basis is going to be huge for you. And then obviously if you're injured, you can't do those things. That's kind of when I feel the mental side of, oh, I'm not getting my endorphins from working out, and I need to do some different things there. So yeah, so I mean, that huge shout out to her, and I'm glad that it's on the forefront. I hope that people that are qualified are now able to have a platform to talk about what that means to high school athletes, what that means to college athletes, what that means to athletes that are living like athletes in the real world, and not necessarily just the highlight and the spotlight of the Olympics, but the guy that's working in the cubicle, where's his mental health, and what are some signs that he or she might be able to what are some steps that they can do, what can they do to help themselves with mental health, and
she might have this guilt factor of I should have pushed through, but if you think about how she's impacted more people by doing this than she would have if she won the gold medal, right? So people are going to be like, oh yeah, and in 2021 Simone won the gold medal, but I think this is going to impacт like long down the road of how people feel about mental health.
And I'm hoping that's the thing. It opens up the conversation, and people are more willing to talk about it, and coming from some big time athletes, that's where it stems from, and then it trickles down, and everyone's more comfortable with it when they're talking about that kind of stuff. So awesome. So the last thing, we got our Krave Chalk Talk, and we have our challenge from last week. We must have recorded. Did we record? We must not had everything, but we have our new challenge totals, and I think first we had a PSA from Zach on challenges.
Yeah, you gotta show up to the challenge day. Show up.
I will retweet that statement.
Yeah, don't skip, and don't think that I don't know that you're skipping because it's challenge day. I know who all of you are that didn't show up this morning. I can go back and look. I mean, there's literally a log of years worth of people showing up to Krave Gym 5 and 6 a.m. sessions with Coach Zach Vaness. I can look at all of them. I can see every person that didn't show up today. Hey, I've got your friends told on you this morning. There's some of you that I was like, hey, did so-and-so not show up to the challenge today? And they're like, yeah. And I was like,
so I'm giving free reign for any coach that knows somebody to just have them do the challenge next time.
Yeah.
So next time you come in, you might have to just do the
That's
challenge.
what I'm saying. Maybe we don't stick to a schedule anymore.
Right.
You guys are getting
pretty
caught on to the schedule thing, so maybe we don't do a schedule
share
anymore.
it. We'll just know for our own coaches' sake of what it is.
But for those who did do the challenge, huge shout out over here at West Des Moines. We have the overall winners or leaders right now. Cody Carlson at 224. Damon Dixon at 236. We got Brian White, Ben O'Neill, Sandy Saunders, Ross Ketwick. We have Al, Drew, Mike Anderson, and Body, all on the top 10 for the guys. And for the females, we have Bobby Rankle at 255. We have Molly O'Neill at 259. Sheila Thompson, Tammy White, Morgan Capel, which she's technically a Waukee athlete, but she trains over here more.
She does. Because I think Alicia and her friend.
Jasmine, Val, Katie Schroet, Bobby Aragus, and Brittany Michaels. Huge shout out to you ladies for the top 10 over at West Des Moines. And over at Waukee, we have, is that a faster? Oh, nope. Okay, so the top 224. Okay, so 228. So first place is pretty close. Is it Dan Luce? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Dan. Sorry if I don't know your name.
Luce. Okay, so that's
it's Luce or Lucci.
I know.
I don't know. So Dan,
We'll ask him.
let us know.
next time
So
you're
we'll
in,
figure it out. But yeah, he's got first place overall over at 228. So just a couple seconds behind the West Des Moines over here. Keith Albrecht, Cy, Dave, Tony, Austin, Fee, which Fee is for over here. So
we're gonna have to have a word with you.
You're gonna have to train.
No, sometimes he comes over there.
Sometimes he
So
comes
how's
to
this gonna
Waukee.
work out?
Yeah, how are we gonna do this?
He might
Let's
just
discuss
be
it.
top 10 at both locations.
I told him noons over at Waukee are more intense than West Des Moines, and he said he's gonna come over there.
Ooh.
Are you kidding me?
Oh,
I just said it, but he said I think you're
I'm gonna
right.
take that as a personal
I'm just
shot.
That's a challenge. All right.
All right.
No, I'm
David,
just
I feel bad for anyone who's in the noon today.
Bargava and Jack
I've been
Andrews,
challenged.
they go finish out the top 10. And for the females, Dana Huey at number 1 at 2:30, which these are awesome times.
Dang, Dana.
Rachel Reimers,
Yeah.
2:30. We have Elizabeth Buckingham at 2:35. We have Elena. We have Amy, Lydia, Maddie, Jill, Dee Dee, and Brianne Burns. Is it Brianne?
Bree.
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 Okay, Bree.
Yeah, our ladies not messing around this season. Our ladies are bringing it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you guys have some awesome female times over there. So top 10, huge shout out to you guys. And way to work. We will have our challenge next week as well, or this week still. No, today.
Today.
We're in the
Today.
middle of it. Yeah, we're in the middle of it. So
Yeah.
we'll have our results coming out for this week's for the end of the. So if we can beat any of those times, that would be awesome. Huge shout out to you guys and get in and do it.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point. You guys that skipped this morning, again, I know who you all are. You got noon, you got 4:30 p.m., you
Plenty of
got
time to
5:30
redeem
p.m.
yourself.
You got 3 more sessions.
To do it.
Get in here, and maybe on Monday I will not have to give you all a lecture. Maybe.
Maybe.
I just say, what does a strength coach do in college if you miss a training session due to anything? I think they
Just
might
learn
just
yourself.
have to might
We'll
just
just have to get
figure out
creative
a-
with some
a
sort of
punishment.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that.
Challenge day every day.
Yeah.
All right.
Ever-
Maybe
maybe-
just the challenge for an hour.
Yeah, that's
And
kind
that
of
have to be
that's
for
kind
the
of what I
whole
was
team,
thinking.
right? It wouldn't be just for
Oh,
the
yeah, it
would be.
representatives.
It would be for the whole
You're
team.
You know
letting
what
your
the
teammates
worst?
down.
You know what the worst punishment was for us when we were in college playing ball. We had so there was a handful of people. This was my freshman year, so I don't think I wasn't really involved. But this was the biggest crackdown for everybody. There was like 20 people that got caught out at the bars that weren't supposed to be out at the bars during a certain time because we had something important coming up, and they were all out at the bars, so they got caught. They were going to get in trouble, but instead of them having to do something, they sat in the stands and watched the rest of us do whatever the punishment was I think was like an hour-long plate workout where you couldn't drop the plate, and it was just like, okay, and the coach basically just would whistle and yell out something. So
I feel like that only works.
12
if
plate
those
curls.
20
Boom,
players
go.
have a conscience. If not,
Right.
then it's just like
and they were
laughing at you the whole time.
They
It might
actually
work for some of them, but
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of them, especially the seniors, I don't think it mattered as much. But any of the underclassmen just got beat up by the seniors that had to actually
Do it.
There we
do it.
go.
You know, so that was a big punishment. So we'll get creative, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But I think we're at time. That's all we got today. Anything else we want to add?
I don't think so. No.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Yep.
If you like our content, please share with a friend and subscribe on our YouTube. Subscribe on any of wherever you listen to your podcast is wherever you're listening to us on this podcast. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that you can see when the releases drop. And remember, you're an athlete. Live like it.
Born an athlete, you'll die an athlete. It's in your DNA.
Live like an athlete so that you can be successful in life.
You're an athlete. Live like it.
ANA, America needs athletes.